Good morning from beautiful Waynesville, North Carolina. It's Saturday, the 7th of August or September. I am losing time. Good morning from this is the Jonathan Crompton Show, Tuscola football head coach. I'm David, along with always down in Winston-Salem, Mr. Chuck Fiebertitz, the former sports editor at the Mountaineer. Good morning, Chuck.
Good morning to both of you, and congratulations, Coach A, on a nice.
Appreciate it.
Yeah. Good morning, Jonathan. We had our usual Saturday morning. You're making me you're making me nervous because you're going to be late.
Because I'm on time.
No, Chuck's just laughing and they're going, man, will you two shut up? As we have if people, the best part of this show is before and after, folks. If you were here before and after, we'd probably get banned, but that's the best. That's the best part of this show. Good morning.
You get upset and screaming, "Let's go!"
Yeah,
and it's 10 minutes before we start.
If we could have,
I gotta get set up.
If we could have a pregame show where everybody's, can watch us while we get set up, you'd see two old men sitting there waiting on the superstar to show up a minute and a half before he's supposed, the show goes on. I mean, you talk about Hollywood diva.
Guys, listen, here's how this works. I know that you two are so type A.
Oh, you figure
that it'll be set up and all I got to do is come sit down.
You figure.
You know what I mean?
You figure. Chuck's down there. He told me that Chuck probably had an hour and a half sleep last night because he was trying to review some game film. But anyway, hey, a big night at CE Weatherby. Great weather. A good crowd. We need more people at CE Weatherby on game night. We had a good crowd, but we need every seat filled. But a good crowd, enthusiastic crowd. Man, the cheerleaders were spectacular. The band, the folks on the Tuscola Football Network got to see the live halftime show last night. The band was just spot on, and all the hard work that the cheerleaders, the band, the student section. From way up where I'm sitting last night, the student section was awesome. Chuck, they had little megaphones, I think, and it was like back in the old days, when the colleges would play, and you'd hear the guy down on the sidelines leading the crowd in cheers, and just a really good night. Kids played hard. It's a tough. I know what their record is, but that's a big, strong, physical, tough football team we played in McDowell County last night, and better days ahead for them too.
Yeah, no, Coach Bird, excuse me, Coach Brewer has done a really good job with them. Very classy team, like coaching wise, player wise. He does a tremendous job. All the respect for him and them, and you're going to be in a dogfight with them. They're always going to be big up front. They're always going to have one or two skill guys that can move around and run. So our guys played really well for what we asked them to do last night, and they played really well within the scheme. And so ultimately we did what we were supposed to do.
Yeah. And we got to, again, housekeeping. Got to thank before we get into the game. What are you drinking, Chuck? What are you drinking, Coach?
This is my third cup of coffee out of my caffeine and chaos cup. Love it.
I'm only on cup one, so I'm not as spry at the moment. It'll kick in. You'll know when.
Did you go by and get your breakfast?
I was running late this morning.
Okay. So what is here's the thing. Here's the debate that we're having. It's not blueberry. It's blackberry. What is it?
It's a blackberry. I'm calling it an oatmeal cake, but it's not a cake. It's it's essentially an oatmeal strudel.
So on your way to film this morning, I'm sure you're going to stop in.
There's a good chance.
Like 100% chance.
Do you know what we call it, 8? We call it Jonathan Crompton's Breakfast of Champions.
There we
That's
go.
was go in and say,
That's my Saturday. That is my Saturday morning. Luxury.
Yeah. So, all right. A big win last night, 2-1.
Mm-hmm.
I think our special. Can we start with the special teams? I think our special teams are just special.
Hence the name.
Yeah. Man,
Sorry.
just the coverage on the kickoff when the kid returned the kick that was kicked to the half-yard line. It stayed in their lanes, people sprinting down, rallying to the ball. Man, Christopher kicking the ball out of the end zone again, had to do another 70-something, almost 70-yard kickoff again last night. The extra points, man, just kicking them. Those are long field goals. And I want to get in. We'll talk about the fake punt in a minute. I want to know if it's something he did.
That's not going to be talked about on here. Just saying, it's schematics.
Yeah, no, but man, he was. When he went in last night and played some corner, or was it safety?
Corner.
He went in and played some corner. Just a joy to watch these kids. Improve. So special teams, the punt team, punt return, everything is just so much better than it was a year ago. Special teams.
Yeah. So the most improved group is the special teams right now from the last year to this year. Coach Seibert, our special teams coordinator, has done a tremendous job with the special teams, just all units all around. It helps, knock on what everyone knock on. It helps when your long snapper is healthy after 5 plays in the season. Kind of, it kind of helps from last year. But no, just all around. Having Christopher Wells being able to kick from the 12-yard line and the ball landed. I watched it on film last night, a slow mo. He kicked it from the 12 and it landed on the 22. That's in high school. That's a huge advantage. Now, granted, you can talk about penalties all day long. One of those I can justify. The other one, the referees need to stay in their lane. Say what you want. I know both of y'all don't like when I talk about it, but you know what? At least I'm going to have the balls to stand up for what's right and stand up for these kids and understand that they're, 15, 16, 17, 18-year-old kids. They're playing a game. They're going to talk back and forth. They'd be like, if we go play basketball right now, are we going to quote unquote chirp at each other?
Who you talking about? You and I?
I don't know. I'm being serious.
Before I had my heart attack. Yes,
but I'm just saying. So the referees need to stay in their damn lane. I'll just say it that way because that is a complete garbage call. They said because all our kid said was, "Hey man, don't hit my quarterback late," and he gets a 15-yard penalty. Complete crap. So that's why Christopher Wells had to kick from the 12, and he did a tremendous job of still trying to keep them crossing midfield. So just in general, I'm going back to now I'll get back on the special teams. They've done a tremendous job with what they've been asked to do. Kickoff coverage was awesome last night. Cooper Williamson, we went back and watched the film last night, obviously, and his kickoff coverage was flying down there, playing corner, playing running back, covering on kickoffs, and never missed a beat. Those are the things that kind of the unsung heroes that you don't see typically. You just go, somebody made a tackle. But seeing the effort by these kids on kickoff, even the guys that had just played offense or defense, that was great to see. Our return game, when you now have teams they're not even willing to kick it past the 30.
Yeah, they don't want to kick it to Bo.
Well, they don't want to kick it to anybody back there.
Yeah.
Bo, Isaiah, Sam, Cooper. So they're kicking it and saying, we're willing to you start on the 40-yard line. That is a good problem to have. So all around special teams has been really, really efficient this year from top to bottom. I mean, obviously, I can be nitpicky if I really wanted to. You know what I mean? We're going to always try to correct things. But I think they have done a tremendous job knowing what they're supposed to do, knowing their assignment, executing their assignment, and not taking it for granted when Christopher kicks it in the end zone. Not slacking on the coverage, thinking it's going to be kicked in the end zone, because that's easy to do. They haven't done that, and that's something that Coach Seibert has stressed with them. Don't get caught sleeping yourself and get lulled to sleep off of, because of Chris being able to kick it in the end zone. So I was very pleased with that last night. Just all around, good job on our punt returns, keeping our defense out there because their punt formation was not, normal, so to speak. It's more of a quick kick situation, so just dropping a safety back to have keep ball security, understand where we're at on the field, fair catching it. So they took their coaching very well and executed it, the way we wanted.
Chuck?
Well, I thought, we were starting to emerge as Chris Wells, having this kind of asset that can boot that ball in the end zone.
Yeah.
And, you can then easily game plan for not having to worry about somebody returning a kickoff back for a touchdown. So that's a huge asset. What I noticed about last night on the offensive side is another week where the offensive line emerged as a strong unit for you. I just would like to know with assistant coach Zach Gibson, who the former head coach at Owen and an assistant coach at Pisgah, what type of relation? I mean, they got to be having a great relationship. This offensive unit starting to emerge as a big unit for you.
Oh, no doubt. He was one of the ones that, stayed late last night, watched the film, and did some corrections just with me and him just talking about stuff. And those kids trust him. They believe in him, obviously as well as I do, to understand he's going to put them in the right position. He's going to put them in the position to be successful as long as they go through their steps and their coaching. Watching some of these kids with their technique it's fun with how they've emerged, how they've grown. And then just from my standpoint, being able to just hand them my game plan sheet and say, jot notes of what you like. We'll come back to it in a little bit. Having that trust that I can go, hey man, you're the run game coordinator. What do you want to see? And we'll get it in there at some point and write it down. So that's where we're headed, and we're going in a really good direction. We talk about it every week, how we can see the little things growing and how the offense is starting to mold into what we really want. The offense is starting to mold into not just route concept wise or just a run play wise, but team wise. It's starting to mold into really what we want to do offensively. And it always starts up front with those five. I could go down the list and name every one of them and say what they're doing well, but we don't have enough time. But just being, certain plays we're going, okay, David Bowman, he's athletic as crap, so we can get him out on certain screens. We're going to do this. All right, Alex Caldwell has been playing lights out lately and playing with just crazy effort. Get him on pulls. And Dustin Moore, our center, good Lord. Is he outmatched size-wise? Yeah, but that kid, he will.
He's a foxhole guy.
Boy, that's what I'm saying. Like I'm saying this in a funny way, but like he'll fight you. Like in that sense, like the mindset of like he went up against a guy, and I'm not making this up, that had a roughly 150-pound weight difference last night, and by God held his own because it doesn't matter. That's his mindset, and he trusts the system, and he trusts his steps, and he trusts his technique. And you got Jesse, who's playing both ways. Jesse Bledsoe's literally not coming off the field as our right guard and understanding what we want, but staying level-headed in the moment. And it does a tremendous job of when he's uncovered being able to help on down blocks or anything like that, even in the pass game.
And look, can I stop you for a second, Chuck? Look, can I chime in here, Chuck, before you ask your next question? I want to talk just a second about.
I didn't finish the lineman.
No, but I got. Okay, go ahead.
That's one, and then you got Everett Messers, literally a 3-game in high school freshman out there one-on-one on an island, flat backing guys, and it's not going against a 7th or 8th grader. He's going against good players.
He's going against me,
and that's this. But understanding his technique, understanding his hands and his hand swipes, and then driving his feet. Like we've got a good core group, and then you've got Bryce Cosby, who at any moment can come in because he's our nose guard. So he can come in and we don't miss a beat at any one of the 5 positions. It's a fun group to watch. I'll say it that way.
And I didn't mean to interrupt you guys, but when you go back, talk about Jesse Bledsoe. Chuck, he's the type of dude that you want to take up in Flint, and you'll be okay walking in a section of town you probably don't need to be in. I'm telling you, in my real world, from the military stuff and the law enforcement stuff, I've been in places, you know what I mean? And
yes.
He's the type of kid that you would take with you. And I don't mean that in a bad way. His maturity over the last year is just it's obvious. But this dude, he does not come off the field. And one of the things I noticed last night was sometimes when you need a little bit of air and you're not going to bring yourself out of the game, he would the little rib protector. He would unbuckle his rib protector, then let the air get to him between plays, and then strap it back on and just keep playing. And in the 2 years or the year and a quarter or whatever since you've been there, and we've been going, and I've been able to go back and see, it has been a pleasure to watch this young man grow on the field, but in the way he carries himself. And he impressed the heck out of me last night. And again, all of those guys, all 6 or 7 that you're putting in, played their guts out. Because again, Chuck, I understand. You look at their record and you go, "Oh yeah, they're now 0-3." That is a big, physical, tough group that our kids played against last night. So, kudos to Jesse.
Oh yeah.
So you have this offensive line, from what I've noticed, is playing well. I think we now can take off the gloves on the underclassmen.
Oh yeah.
We're going to realize the multi-talented Bo West is going to be a kid that is that jackknife where he can do everything, and he's a trained quarterback, he's receiver, defensive back, doesn't come off the field, but teams also know that now. So when they go and mark Bo, trying to take Bo out of the game, and he's only a sophomore, by the way. Where do you go? Is there a contingency plan to say, okay, Bo, they're trying to take Bo out. Who can you call on?
Isaiah Hyatt, Bridger Jones, Sam Decker, Elijah Pruitt, Cooper Williams, and Ty Walker.
All right.
In no particular order. We're fortunate to have a lot of really good football players, really good kids that understand our system, understand what we want, come off the field and have real life, non-high school football conversations with me. Understand that I'm looking for certain things. They've learned what I want them to see from a defensive back standpoint or a linebacker standpoint or whatever it may be in the moment, to come off the field and go, "Hey, coach, they're playing like this. If we're in this formation, they look like this. If we're in a stack formation, they look like this. They're playing this way." So our kids are growing, not just athletically, but from the IQ standpoint of the game. It's really fun to watch. The conversations that come off the field that are not started by me, they go grab the iPad and look at it and then come, "Coach, hey, coach, see, this is what I'm telling you. Look how he's playing." So we have a plethora of guys that I trust 100% with our whole system. I said last night to the Mountaineer, it's fun as a coach to be able to go, you know what? Yes, they're between 14 or 15 and 18, depending on their birthday. But it's really fun when you get to a point that you can trust them and they know the system now, to where there's freedom, to where certain plays can be overridden. Like, not necessarily an audible, but an unspoken bond between a receiver and QB. Like the play to Bridger Jones down the middle last night, that was 100% those two. Not my call. But Bridger had been asking on the sideline, Coach, when they go to this look, even though they're man outside, the linebacker's playing zone. He's not covering me. He's playing zone. He's doing this. His first step is here. Could I do this? Well, what am I going to do in the moment? And I'm being serious. Like, what as a coach, do you look at a kid that has 100% understood what you want and go, nope, it's not what I call. You run what I call. I'm not that guy. I can't be. And it was funny. We were talking about in the field house last night. I showed the guys a clip, and you can see Bridger turn and look at me on the sideline. Can I do it? I didn't say anything because then he just looked at Jet and gave him a little, hey, here we go. And they adjusted on the run, and now it's a 35-yard gain on 1st and 20 because we had a penalty. Those are the things that are so fun for me to see. And I give certain players freedom to do those things. So to answer your question, Bo is what I call, like, it's not secret, but like the secret weapon. He's not secret anymore. But if they want to double cover him, well, now you got to deal with Bridger. Now you got to deal with Isaiah. Now you got to deal with Sam. Now you got to deal with Elijah Pruitt. Oh, by the way, Elijah Pruitt caught a comeback, put his foot on the ground, split 2 dudes, and outran the other for a touchdown. Now you got to deal with Ty Walker coming out of the backfield. Now you got to deal with Cooper Williamson out of the backfield or in the slot. We have guys that I have zero hesitation to go, game's on line, ball's in your hand. And that's what's fun for me to see.
Yeah. And
a fantasy team, high school fantasy team. Everybody, it's no secret. I'd take Cooper Williamson, but I'd make sure I tried to get Bo on that team because he can do everything on both sides of the football and on special teams. And I think we talk about him like he's a senior and he's only a sophomore.
No, exactly. But because Bo's done a tremendous job. Like I'm talking about what he's done and what he's excuse me, how he's handled his situation has been tremendous. But the fun part is like if I go to certain sets, who's normally on his side? Isaiah Hyatt. Well, who are you going to pick? Honestly, who are you going to pick? Isaiah had 320 yards in a JV game last year receiving. Isaiah's our other return man, and they're going, crap, we can't kick it to him either now. Now we got to pooch it to the 35. I put them on the same side. Who are you going to pick? Oh, now you got to send 3 guys over there. Now you're one less either in the box or one less over to Bridger, Sam, and Elijah Pruitt. Pick your poison in that sense. That's the fun part because we have that depth at the receiver position or the skill position, I would say. And like I said, dude, Isaiah's safety, receiver, other kick returner, also punt returner because we leave our defense out there. Like he is, once again, not secret, but he's one of the other guys. He made a phenomenal play last night to extend the drive to try to end the game on a seam route that he adjusted, saw the safety, roll the other way, bend it, excuse me, bend it in instead of keeping it vertical. Sorry. Vertical when the linebacker was carrying, kind of bent it behind him and made a great play, then took a big hit and kept a drive alive. Like he's a kid that you go, you know what? I should get you the ball in any way I possibly can. Yeah. Oh, hey, Bo. Oh, crap, I should get you the ball in any way I can. Oh, hey, Pruitt. Bridger. 4th down, it's no secret who I'm probably going to. The other coaches watch the film and can see there's 2, maybe 3 kids that if it's 4th and 8 and we got to win the game, then I'm going to. And other coaches can see that. I'm not going to say who they are. But most teams don't have a pick, if that makes sense. We are fortunate to have kids that have bought into the program, to the system, to Coach Seibert as a receiver coach, that we can pick. That's what I love about it.
And let me flip over to the defense real quick, but then I want to make sure that we kind of break the game down by quarters. But I want to tell you that our defensive line really, really, really played well last night.
Yes.
And Leander is doing a phenomenal job. Oh my goodness, a phenomenal job. But man, Bryson Hayes, Haynes, man, he is becoming the quarterback of that defense. For me, I don't know from inside, but just what I see, man, 34 played a great game last night. Feet in the ground, lateral movement, great, and he'll knock your teeth out. And that has, I mean, our defensive line and the DBs put a lot of pressure on your DBs. But man, I love me some 34 too.
Yeah, I'm with you, but and Bryson's done a tremendous job.
Love me some zero.
It depends on what package we're in.
Yeah,
it depends on where they're playing.
Walker,
and they understand that. Certain times Walker is a defensive end. Certain times he's an outside linebacker. Certain times he's an inside linebacker. Depends on our personnel. Same thing with Bryson. And that's where our kids have learned what we want to do. They understand what Coach Chambers is installing when we do it. They've played tremendous the past 2 weeks. The defense in the past 2 weeks has only given up 13 points. You only give up 13 points in a 2-week span. You got really good odds. You know what I mean? Unless you're last year's Iowa team. That was just a shot at Iowa for no reason.
That makes Chuck happy.
Like, sorry, there you go, Chuck. There was zero reason why I said that. You kick your field goal and you probably beat Iowa. But
oh my God,
sorry, I have no problem with Iowa. It just sounded good in the moment. But seriously though, our guys, if you give up an average of 6.5 points defensively a game, that's a good thing. They scored 14 last week, but the other one was an offensive turnover touchdown. So defensively, they're only giving up the past 2 weeks 6.5 points. That's a good thing to have. So we got to stay the course. We got to stay, continue to grow and get better, stay healthy. Knock on whatever you want to knock on. I mean, it is football, but you always got to get beat up, banged up, get nicks and bruises. So we got to make sure we stay as healthy as we can. But defense has played tremendous. They really have. And yes, Bryson is up front, that leader in the front seven, so to speak. But I got 2 kids in the back end, really 3 with Cooper, but 2 kids in the back end that will light your rear end up and understand you're going to line up in the right way. And you know what you're in because they're going to make sure you know, and that is Ty Walker and Isaiah Hyatt. And that, oh, by the way, they're both sophomores. That's what's fun to see. They're quote unquote young age wise, but they're not young in the game of football because they've grown up. They trust each other. Nobody in that team cares how old you are, so to speak. Like age wise, they don't care. They trust their brother. They trust their teammate beside them. And our defense has played lights out the past 2 weeks.
So take us through the first quarter was what I call like an old SEC back before you got there. It was just a slobber knocker.
It was
kind of feeling each other out for a little bit, and a lot of shots thrown, and just a good old fashioned headbanger.
Which is when you play McDowell, that's what you're gonna get.
So your thought process in the first quarter, in what you guys are thinking up in the booth, and what you're thinking down there. Let's just first quarter on.
Yeah, well, I always script the first 10 plays. We had a read combination for Jet as far as if we're going to take a shot first play or not. Because, ultimately I do like to take a shot, or not a trick play, but like a unorthodox play early if I can. Doesn't have to happen, but, we thought about it play one. Jet made the right read, moved on. Wanted to come back with some emotions and see how they were going to react, and they came down. And if you looked at their front, you assumed it should have been pressure by their secondary guys, and then looking at the front, but they didn't pressure, which was kind of odd in that sense. So if you from a football standpoint, I would if you playing what you call flat top, which is no safety, all the DBs are literally in a line, and so it's just always been called a flat top. If you get that look, it's typically cover 0, which means they're bringing the stuff.
And that's what Coach Matthews is up there saying to me. He said they're really not. He said they look, but it's not happening.
Well, no, they weren't even showing pressure.
Yeah,
and but they should have, if you ask me. I would have pressured in that look secondary wise personally. And it was one of those I wanted to see how they would react with motion. So we motioned early on and did some things. But ultimately, you want to go down and score on the first drive, obviously. But for me, that is icing on the cake. First drive, I'm trying to fill you out defensively to see what you're doing in that sense. I'm always going to want to try to score. The plays are set up to score, but I'm also trying to see how you're doing certain things, because you never want to go down 7-0 if you're an opposing defense, right? So you kind of got to tip your hand. We tip our hand in our certain situations too. So I thought it was good. And then the fake punt was executed perfectly. Got a first down. I didn't know until I watched the film that he got pushed out of bounds and he ended up like on the bench against the fence. And I was like, good Lord, man. Like I didn't know that happened, which here's the thing though. You want to go back to it. If they're going to call nitpicky this, and this, then throw a flag for late hit. But, oh, wait, we don't get those calls because they're, whatever. And they're going to throw – and I'm going to say it. You get mad all you want. No. What I'm saying is you're going to throw a flag on me as the head coach for going and checking on Bo West, who was down for a second. And you're going to throw a flag on me and say, well, I left too early. Well, you know what? I got a kid down. There's certain things I can tell you, but don't sit here and try to look at me and tell me that I'm wrong when you are over here trying to eyeball me. You are over there staring at me the whole goddamn game, right? As a referee, do your job. Do your job. Don't pay attention to me or my staff or my players. Do your job and stop trying to affect the outcome of a game because you're trying to be vindictive. Take that for what it's worth, is what it is. But you'll never not see me go protect one of my kids. That is not going to happen. All right? So, Brian Yates, you can take that for what it's worth. All right. Other than that, first quarter did go kind of the way that we knew it would go. It's McDowell. They're big. They're physical. Right? The defense, both their neck, played great. And then with, Bo's touchdown run, that was freaking awesome. Perfect timing of the motion, everything. Bridger and Everett doing a great job sealing the edge on the right edge right there. And just receivers blocking their butts off on that play. It was awesome to see. I mean, awesome to see. Getting in the end zone. Ultimately, you don't want to see two unsportsmanlikes, obviously. You don't. But then with Christopher being able to do what he did on the ensuing kickoff and kicking that thing, I'm taking a shot in the dark here off my head, probably 60 yards in the air. That's I haven't done the math. But roughly in that range is what I'm going to guess, 55 to 60. That's awesome distance because on the normal 40, that's a touchback, right? So, but also coverage, like we said a minute ago, kickoff coverage doing a great job keeping them on the other side of midfield when you're kicking from the 12. From a return standpoint, you instantly go, we should be across midfield. Like that's how from both sides. Our kick coverage was beautiful there. So, I mean, all in all, the first quarter was kind of what we knew what it would be, hard-nosed, smash-mouth football. And it's the quote-unquote new age era version. And, kudos to McDowell for being able to try to move the ball. But I'm going to tell you, our front seven, they showed up. They showed up last night.
Chucky?
Yeah, I totally agree with everything. I can hear the frustration as far as the refereeing and you just got to keep playing.
No, exactly.
There's going to be a point in time. These referees cannot win this battle that they are trying to do with you. There's a point in time where they're just going to throw the white flag and say, okay, let's just be, referees and be as fair as possible.
That's all we're asking for. Just referee the game. Don't tell me before the game that, well, there wasn't a fight, so to speak, where there kind of wasn't. He goes, there was a fight last year, no tolerance. It's like, guys, me and Coach Brewer have talked. There's nothing there. Like there is nothing. We got two respectful teams. Like he does a tremendous job with his team. I was like, everything's fine. Well, there's no tolerance. One word said where they're getting a flag. I'm like, guys, They're teenagers. It's okay. Me and their coach have literally talked to our teams. Well, we're not going to take anything off of that. That's the stuff that you can't have. That's my opinion. And it is what it is. They're teenagers. Understand? I know you can't go out there and like threaten somebody. That's different. That's not what I'm getting at. But they're teenagers. They're gonna talk. And not in a disrespectful way. But you can't try to affect the outcome of a game because you want to be the authoritarian. That's my opinion.
And the second quarter, I thought the time management was you guys. You did a great job with time management, timeout control, clock control, and the kids. The last drive, to get the touchdown, but before that, make the defensive stand, to use the timeouts. That's just as important, if not more important, than the drive for the touchdown. I thought the kids understood the big picture for the. It was like a light bulb went off, and I thought that I'm not going to ask about the scheme, but I thought that the kids up front did a great job.
Yes.
I thought Jet did a great job of standing there making the throws, and the kids ran the routes. From my seat, man, they put their foot in the ground exactly where you guys had. It looks like you taught them. The ball's in the air before they're making their cuts. They understood sideline responsibility to get out, stop the clock because we had 0 timeouts left. That was growth. I'm not trying to talk over you, but to me, that was the growth that Chuck and I have talked about. Where's the growth coming?
Yeah.
Besides the physical stuff.
Yeah.
But that was just offensively, defensively, that was pretty good to see. That was awesome to see.
In the back of my head, so we went for the old standard. We're going to try to draw offsides on 4th and 5, and then I'll burn a timeout earlier in the second quarter. And I was sitting there going, please don't bite me in the butt if I do this. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I know I'm going to have to burn a timeout. Please, should I do it? Should I do, like, going back and forth in my head? And ultimately it didn't, but those are the things that I got to make sure that I am smart about it. Yes, you never want to plan for you never want to have like end a half with timeouts left if you could have used them, right? Now, granted, if you don't have to use them, that's different. But like if you like a 2-minute drill, so I'm sitting there going, man, should I? Yeah, we'll do it. I'll go ahead and try to draw them off sides, keep the drive going. We'll burn it, right? As soon as that last drive happened, I could see, and Coach Brew did the right thing. Try to run the clock, burn the clock, get to the half, right? Because at that point, it's a 1-point ball game.
Yes.
All right. To get,
and that's a win for them.
No, that's what I'm saying. So he was doing the what you should do. He was doing the right strategic thing, and I'm sitting there going, crap. Oh crap! That, like, in my head going, that timeout's going to burn me. It's going to bite me in the butt. Like using it earlier, and so luckily we were able to get the ball. Our defense did a great job. At least we had 2 timeouts. Did a great job. Man, our guys, we practice it every week, 2-minute drill. They executed it well. They understand in certain situations who moves, who doesn't. For as little movement. I always use the phrase, the more moving parts, the more room for error, right? So if everybody's all clustered and like all around, take a deep breath. Here's how we can adjust to get to certain formations. I don't care your letter of X, Y, Z, F, T, all that stuff in a 2-minute drill. I care about, is it a 3-by-1 formation, meaning 3 receivers, 1 receiver, or is it an empty 3-by-2? Whatever it is, because I trust all of our guys to run any of the routes, right? So they did a great job. Great job of going down and going 60 plays or 60 yards on 3 plays in 21 seconds. Great job on the first one. Ball was in the middle of the field. Jet threw a comeback to the left. Great job, Bo, getting out of bounds.
Yes,
right? Again, we had no timeouts.
Smart football.
Those are the things that we go over each week. If you can get out of bounds, get out of bounds, right? Stay moving forward, but get out of bounds and the clock will stop. Then the next one, You got Sam Decker on a deep out route, kind of a flood route, I guess you'd call it, to the field. 14-yard out route, hash to sidelines, a big boy throw. I don't care.
Yeah,
Like that's
Coach. It was hilarious. I can't believe you said that because Coach Matthews turned around and looked at me and said that.
Well, no, and that's what I'm saying. So then, but Sam understanding once again, Sam understanding, get what I can get out of bounds, and then Elijah Pruitt running to come back to our sideline. In my head, I'm going, any play can score, right? That's what you always want to think. Oh, every play can score, every play can score. And we throw it, I'm like, all right, we get this first down. Where am I going? What's my next play call? What's my next play call? Like in my head, it's 2-minute drill. It drops back. Defense did a good job. It was actually really good coverage. But the front seven for them did a good job here getting pressure. And just kind of off of a little leakage because they're trying to twist and stunt and watch the film. 1, 2, 3, hitch, balls out. You pause the film, balls out before he breaks, takes a hit as he's throwing, balls on the money, put your foot in the ground, get north and south is what we teach them. None of this, let's go backwards, side to side, foot in the ground, north and south. Now you split 2, outran 1, now it's a touchdown. In your head, you go, oh, 2-minute drill, we should score every time. Statistically speaking, you only score on a 2-minute drill less than 50% of the time. That's granted, that's over years. So it can be a little skewed. But in your head, you go, every play can score, every play can score, every play can score. That's what you want to think. Statistically speaking, they don't. Statistically speaking, you're not going to score every 2-minute drive. But our kids, and that's what I told them after the game. At halftime, sorry. The past 2 weeks, we have had under 1 minute on the clock combined, not individual, combined. And we've had 120 plus yards to go combined. And we've got 14 points out of it. Like that, that's the stuff that our kids, I don't know if they've realized how good they're doing in that sense. They're understanding what we want, and by God, they're executing it how we need to execute. And that's where practice comes into play. And they trust that. They practice their butts off. That's what's fun to see. So now everybody's going to get upset if we don't score on a 2-minute drill in 3 plays. Yeah. Because that's what's happened the past couple of weeks. You know what I'm saying? Like it's happened and they're going, oh, what are we doing?
Coach, when you were the timeouts, do you have players around you where you're discussing, look, we're going to get the ball back and here's what we may want to be. Are you guys discussing things as you're trying to get that ball back in the final seconds of that first half?
Oh, yeah. No, always. We have really good communication. We've got a couple of different headsets that go what's called both ways for offense and defense. So when we go to defense, I go to the defensive side of the headsets. And, if somebody needs you on offense, they can click over, hey, I need you on offense, and go back and forth. So and that's also where the trust comes into play with Coach Gibson. I'm like, hey, man, here's the game plan. Even though you have your own sheet, write down on mine what you want to see while I'm on defense. You know what I mean? Write those down. We'll talk about them on the run as we're going. So I'm back and forth. There's a lot of communication. And it's a lot different than it was last year. And the reason why is because we're year 2 in the system. Everybody knows it. You know what I mean? It's more fluid. It's more comfortability of what are we looking for, especially that's in my head, because I promise you there's a lot of randomness going on up there. A lot of randomness. You know what I mean? So it's from here to here to here to here. But that's where we've grown as just a staff, that everybody's understands, hey, here's what we really want to look for schematically. If we're about to get the ball back, we have no timeouts. Hey, if we go to this set, they're really playing this defense. If we go to this set, they're playing this defense. So this may help us more, this may not, or vice versa. Those are the things that are fun to hear. And then going back and in my head, replaying them, go, dang, we really understand what we're doing. The kids understand what we're telling them because of communication.
And in the third quarter, and I sent Chuck a text, and Coach Matthews and I talked. It's like my little support group during the game. But the third quarter last night, was in the year in your second year here, the best quarter of football that I have seen you guys play. And it wasn't just that you scored a couple of touchdowns and probably could have had a third, but you just, from the time they came out and warmed up to the end of that quarter, you guys played from the naked eye, from the people of us in the stands. That was almost flawless. The way that they played, the executed, and the effort and understanding that now we've got to put our foot on the gas pedal because we need to learn how to put guys away.
Yeah.
And I thought the third quarter, Chuck, was really it was different than things that I'd seen in the 2 years you've been here.
Well, yeah, but once again, it comes back to the kids understand what we're doing. They trust what we're doing. They know that we can run, play ABC, whatever you want to call it, 16 different ways, so to speak. Once again, it does not, in our system, it does not matter that David Crompton is the X, Chuck Feverness is the Y, Jonathan Crompton is the Z. That does not matter. That you have the label, but that's for certain things. It does not matter play-wise.
Yeah.
If I call a certain personnel and I call it with whatever formation, there may be Bridget Jones in the backfield. There may be Cooper Williams in the backfield. Maybe Isaiah Hyatt in the backfield. Do you see where I'm going with that?
Mm-hmm.
So we can run the exact same play, but it'd be a different personnel in the backfield. Be a different personnel at the number 3 receiver, different personnel at the lone receiver backside. That's what's fun for them to, for me to watch them grow and see it and do it and execute it. And they did that really well last night especially on the first drive of the second half. We added a couple of wrinkles, I guess you'd say, at halftime on how we were going to run the football. Because typically if you go complete empty, no backs in the backfield, what are you doing?
Yeah.
You're throwing.
Yeah.
Well, we went empty to run the ball last night.
And that was something that I have not seen.
But that's where the communication between myself and Coach Gibson is really good. I trust him to say, hey, they're in this defense, they're in this, blah, blah, blah. If we go here and we do this, if this person may not move, let's try that real quick and see if he moves. If he doesn't move, we'll go here. If he moves, we'll go here, blah, blah, blah. And that's the stuff we talk about. So it's been really fun and enjoyable to have those moments, to be able to go out there and know that we've got guys that trust each other as a coaching staff. We trust each other. We know each other, knows what we're talking about. And we can bounce ideas off each other. Because the bottom line is that at the end of the day, the ultimate goal is to win, right? So I was messing with Coach Gibson last night. I was like, hey, man, we may not go another back in the backfield, because he's O-line coach. Being funny. He goes, hey, man, we just got to win. We do what we got to do. I was trying to be funny, to an O-line coach. You know what I mean? Like, I was figuring him like, oh, man, we got to go 3 tight ends. No, he's like, no, let's just win. And I was like, well, that's supposed to be funny, man. In my head, it was a good joke. But those are the things that we all understand. We just want to win. Yeah. And so the communication each week is growing. Are we human? Are we going to run into little communication issues of where for me, I'm trying to explain it, but it's not coming out properly? Yeah, we're human. But now everybody understands everybody's communication tactics of, I know what you're trying to say. All right, let's do this, blah, 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 blah. So that's where it's been fun. Seeing the growth from the players and the coaching staff for us growing each week. I'm excited where we're headed. I don't want to overlook the moment at all, but I'm excited to see where we're at the end. Is that offensively, defensively, you know what I mean? But I don't want to overlook it. And I don't want to wish away the ride of getting there.
Chucky?
No, that's excellent stuff. You're at a point in the final seconds of the half, And in those moments, it's chaotic because you got multiple scenarios floating, and you're trying to get this communication going at the same time, being in real time, having to call timeouts or see what happens and adjusting on every single play. If people have never been sidelines, they won't understand the chaos that you're involved in and how calming it is, how this communication it's like a buzz. It's really interesting getting inside the heads of your coaching staff. And then when we get inside of your head, Jonathan, we can get inside. Really understand that. But
it is interesting, and it's fun to, like I said, it's you never know going into week 1 and week 2 and week 3, week 4, like as you go, you never know how it's going to start at the beginning. You can mimic it in practice all day long, but you can't mimic that. You can make it. Like it was funny 2 weeks ago, our 2-minute drill was, hey guys, we got 45 seconds, no timeouts, 80 yards to go. Well, what happened in the game? It was kind of weird how that worked out. This week we had 2 minutes, no timeouts, 95 yards to go. Though I just throw out scenarios. Here's our situation. Let's go. Blah blah blah. So our kids know that I'm going to just randomly throw a time. We're down by 4, can't kick a field goal. We got to go. Hey, it's before the half. We really need to get points. Blah blah blah. And then our coaches understanding what we're looking for. It's. I've had a freaking blast. I'm not gonna lie. But our kids know if you ask them, how many seconds do you got? And they say 8. You got 8 seconds and it's over. You know we can do about it. Good, bad, and different. Coaches, you got 8 seconds. Good, bad, and different. Move on. You know what I mean? Especially in the game. We don't have time to dwell. That is our standard is you got 8 seconds. 8 seconds to go, crap. Should have done this, or that was so great, or whatever it was. All right, next play. Jonathan, because the average play is 6. So during the play, we're kind of counting some of those. You know what I'm saying? And so it's 8 seconds, move on, good, bad, and different. And our players understand that now. And the mindset has changed to where some of them, and I will not say their names, me and them have talked about it. Like last year, you would have gotten in your own head. And they're like, yeah, coach, like 100%. I would have gotten in my head. I've done this, and this. And this year it's like, yeah, you know what I'm going to do? Let's go make the play next time. Let's go. Let's move on. Let's go. Here we go. Call next play. That's the growth that we've seen. And that's why you see a 2-minute drill not affect them.
Johnson, do you, your dad's text, I was quite excited. I will tell you, listening to the broadcast, I'll make this comment, broadcast was the best I've heard out of Tuscola football ever since 2004. So your broadcast team is doing an exceptional job. Back to the third quarter, do you think it was the best quarter to date that you guys played as a whole?
Coach's answer?
Yes.
Fourth quarter, because it was the last quarter of the game, and we got to end in victory. Just how my brain works. But I think the third quarter was very efficient on both sides. I really do. Fourth quarter, here's also why I personally would say the fourth quarter. Where do we get the ball to start with 1:12 left in the third? 5-yard line.
Yeah.
Right. Statistically speaking, you're not going to go 95 yards. The funny part is, what did I just say about our 2-minute drill this week? And I told her guys, and we're watching film, and I showed them. I said, here's the thing. When we're backed up, what is our goal from a football standpoint? 2 first downs, punt, flip the field. The odds are not going to drive 95 yards. You're playing the odds. I mean, just in reality, you want to, you're always going to plan to. But the reality is that's not highly likely. Bridger Jones, great run. Cooper Williamson comes in, gets the first down. In the conversation at starting the fourth quarter, is like, Coach, I just wanted the first down to move the chains. Cooper, that's exactly what we wanted. Perfect. Protect the ball, get the first down, go down in the quarter, first down, let's move on. But those are the things that they notice. So now, granted, we did not score, but we ended up on the 5-yard line. I'm no mathematician. That's 90 yards like that, methodically moving the ball with how we want to do it in the run and pass game. You know what I mean? Like, it was very smooth and efficient on that drive, just going with the halftime adjustments, even though it was the fourth quarter. And then we get down there, try to little mess around play real quick, which sometimes you got to do that because that's going to be good down the road. And I do think it could be good this next week. And then
breaking news.
And then, you know, obviously once again, did not score.
Yeah.
But in that situation, 4th and goal at the 9, should I kick the field goal? Yes. But we're up 22 at the moment. And there's 6 minutes to go. I'm going to try to put the dagger in the game because I trust Coach Chambers and I trust our defense. If it's a 1-score game, it's a no-brainer, kicking the field goal. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Kicking the field goal. And that's when I got the penalty after that, but whatever.
Yeah.
But then our defense coming out there and holding them late to not let them score. Right. So that, like I said, that's the reason why I say personally the fourth quarter, because of the long drive, sustaining the drive, and then getting to end the ball or in the game with the ball in your hand. I say victory. We didn't kneel down because the clock was timed up perfectly. But being able to end the game in a victory situation and methodically moving the ball, getting into one of our heavy sets to run the ball to end the game, that's why I stay 4th.
Okay.
Because
great question, great answer.
Because here's what we tell our kids. I want to end the game in the trenches. That means we got the ball and we got the lead and we're going to run it. That's what I want as a coach. And that's what we did. So that's why the 4th.
Okay. That is exactly what happened last year in the rivalry game where you ended trenches. I will admit this came out of my mouth when you were at the 5, you know, with a little over a minute to go in the third quarter. My training was get 2 first downs, see where you're at, and if the worst case scenario, you punt and flip the field. That's exactly what came out of my mouth. If you get 2 first downs, and then you might, you know, if you don't get that third one, then, you know, you're punting. But the third one, if you get a third one, you can start thinking, well, okay, let's get it down in and punch it in.
Yep.
So, I mean, that's football axiom out there coming from your mouth. Fourth quarter, did you end the game in the trenches? Did you think you did a good job?
Yeah, no, 100%. And the part we were watching last night, the part that was the most, I wouldn't say most satisfying, but very rewarding to see was our 2 freshmen were on the same side together, Everett Messer and Chase Smalley. And Chase was at tight end.
They're great kids, by the way. They came up to me last night.
Yeah, and they were them understanding the lingo of the calls up front, and they double teamed a DN to a backer to perfection 3 plays in a row. Now Chase got a holding penalty. He comes up and goes, "Coach, I'm so sorry." And I said, "Buddy, that was same thing. That was in that situation. That was an effort penalty, and it was still 2nd and short, and he just wasted 12 seconds." I'm not actually upset at that because you can't put time back on the clock for the previous play. So you kind of wasted 12 seconds. Now we go 2nd and 1 again, or 2nd and 6 inches. It's not the worst. You don't want it, but it's not the worst case. But you watch the film and you go, "It was a holding." It kind of was a holding, but you just turned 15 2 days ago and you manhandled that kid. Okay. All right. But doing it not just recklessly.
Yeah.
2 freshmen being able to double team a DN to a backer to secure an edge. Phenomenal. It was actually satisfying to see that in that sense. But yeah, we did get to end it in the trenches, that's what I want every week. I want our O-line. I want to run the ball to end the game, and in the game where everybody has to see our 5 up front do their thing. That's what I want.
So, big win. Last non-conference game coming up. We're going to switch over here real quick. We got we're headed to Swain,
mm-hmm.
and every time I think about Swain, I think about you and Heath,
mm-hmm.
and you guys talking smack when you were just this kid out there in the field, and you two throwing footballs, and people should have paid money to see that. But anyway, it is the football tradition out there is like ours. It's second to none. Anytime you walk out on that field over in Swain County, it's hey, we're the visitors and we're going to come out there, but it's still it's like walking on C.E. Weatherby. That's sacred ground, and it's cool to go in there as a visitors, and they're going to be tough. They're going to be Swain County. It's going to be another slobber knocker football game, and So,
well, the next couple weeks are going to be because bye week and then Franklin. But yeah, I mean, we got our work cut out for us. Swain is Swain as far as like what they're going to run inside outside veer. They're going to try to run it down your throat, and that's Swain football.
Yep.
That's the SMC. Yep. You know what I'm saying? It's Robbinsville. That's Murphy. That's all those guys out there. That's their football. So we got to make sure that we go and game plan properly and try to put our kids in the best possible position they can be in to be successful, because they are. I'm gonna tell you, they are big and good up front. So this will be another really challenging task from our our O-line and our D-line and linebackers. But I think our kids obviously each week are up for the task. But now it's just a matter of getting them ready, make sure we're as healed up as possible. Once again, you always get nicks and bruises. That's football. It's in that sense. So making sure we're ready to go for the bus ride over.
Okay. And a couple of things here before we get off the air. Folks, and it's really cool to go out in the community during the week once football season starts, and people talk about this. They get up at 8 o'clock on Saturday to spend time and eat breakfast and watch and listen. And I need at the end of the day, I try to really be professional at this, but I'm still your dad. Mm-hmm. And there's times I cringe, and there's times, but I will tell you, and I'm going to tell Chuck, that the insight that you guys give people with this show, the insight that you tell folks, and you're like the CIA, and you're not, but the information and the knowledge in what the thought processes that you and your staff and the kids, there's not many people that are going to sit down and open up about the things that you guys talk about. So I want to tell you two, thank you, because I admire the hell out of that, because you could just do the typical, and you played for them. You could do the typical Belichick thing and go, yep, nope, yep.
It's kind of boring.
Nope. But I mean, but I'm being really honest here. It is amazing when people, the stuff that you guys talked about today, about the drive and at the end of the quarter, or the way that the fourth quarter to you was more important than the third quarter as far. And that's just really cool information. And Chuck asks really good questions, and sometimes I might ask a good one. So I thank you guys. I appreciate the heck out of that. And then Chuck,
what?
Jonathan, can you see Chuck?
A little bit. It's angled.
Okay. You see the shirt he's wearing today?
I do not actually.
Okay, let me do this, folks. This
better not be NC State.
Look at that.
Now we're done. We're done.
Now I know he's wearing that because his granddaughter committed to play soccer there.
I'm with you, but watch this, Chuck.
Yeah.
Question.
Yeah.
Now before I ask this,
no, this is not Tuscola football guys.
No. Before I ask this, understand I've got a couple kids on the team that are huge NC State fans.
Okay.
But no.
Cooper Williamson, one of them?
No. What show is this?
The Johnson show.
What color is that?
Yellow.
We don't wear red on the show. I don't allow red in my locker room. No, you think y'all laughing?
No, I'm not laughing.
Hey, there ain't no red. Hey, there's no red. You wear red shirt in the locker room. You go out and change before you come back in.
That's like on your recruiting trip to Georgia, and your mama was walking all over the G without understanding.
So Chuck, I love you. I didn't see that, or I'd have called you out 32 seconds in.
Okay.
Going to be a great football game today.
Going
to be a great game down in Charlotte with the Vols in the Wolf Pack.
Before I want to say one thing.
Yeah.
because I do got to go in a second.
Yeah.
I was talking to our principal, Mr. Connor, about this last night. And I hope people are still listening to hear this part. We have a community and I don't care what anybody says. I know everybody always says, oh, our community is best, or our fans are the best, and blah, 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 right? Everybody, you're supposed to think that. But I'm going to tell you right now, we have a community, and I've talked about this before about post-game meals on the road. We're one of the unfortunate teams that have to travel to a home game. That's not far.
Yeah.
But it's still not ideal in that sense. You know what I mean? Like, as far as how that works. Our parents, I don't care what anybody says, I'll go to my grave. Our parents went out of their own pocket and went and bought Chick-fil-A sandwiches and chips and drinks for all of our kids after a home game because, and I quote, our kids deserve that. I don't want any kid to ever feel like they have to go home hungry after a home game. That's what we are. That's the support in the community that we have here. And I will go to my grave and the old cliche, I'll die on that hill, whatever you want to call it, that we have the best, the absolute best support non-in-house staff, I'm talking about like administration, but like community and parents there is. Because what other team that reached out to me and said, are you okay if we do this? I said, well, I don't want you to feel like you have to. I don't want to put a burden on anybody. That's not what we're here for. And they said, Coach, this isn't a burden. We want to do this. What other place can say that? I'm being serious. That's what we have. That's who Tuscola is. That's the community we have. It's second to none. I mean, I get goosebumps thinking about it because they wait around to make sure every kid gets a sandwich. Every kid gets a bag of chips. And that is completely self-provoked by them. They want to do that. And once again, and I have told multiple times, please it's a home game. You don't have to do this. I don't want it to be a burden. I don't. And it's, Coach, we appreciate it, but we want to do it. So if you're okay, I said, I'm okay with whatever you want to do for our kids because they're kids. That's freaking outstanding. It's amazing to see that. That is the definition of that. That's the definition of wearing that on your chest. That's the definition of having that logo on your helmet. That's the definition of all of our fans wearing our hats, wearing not just football, but Tuscola, the hats, the T-shirts, the sweatshirts, going to support every other sport. That's what Tuscola is, and I will die on that hill.
And the academic
report
that came out. Chuck, did I told you about the academic report that came out from
what Mr. Connor has done is gosh almighty.
Oh my gosh.
We're number one in ACT test scores, which is hard to do, obviously. We had the number one overall growth from year to year. He's done a tremendous job academically. I think every sport has done a really good job athletically. It's a good time to have that logo on your chest. I'll say that. It is a good time to have that on your chest. And once again, and not have it say athletics, just that Tuscola or that T being a part of this school, being a part of the hill, as we call it, because we're up on the hill. Like he has done a tremendous job from top to bottom, athletically and academically. It's the place you want to be right now. And I'm not saying that because I'm the football coach. I'm saying that just because of harsh reality. There's a lot of really good things happening. Our kids are treated properly. Our kids hold each other accountable in all sports and all facets of the game or academics. And Mr. Connor does a tremendous job of running that. I call it organization.
Chucky, anything before we get off?
Yeah, just to add on that we talked about it when a little after April, after your hire date, and said that if you want to have an elite program, you got to be elite in everything you do. And I believe at this point in time on game day, you have elite cheerleaders. Your band has always been elite.
Yep.
And your fans are becoming like elite fans, doing those type of things. Your football program is progressing. Now, Principal Connor is changing the environment in the classroom to be elite. And once you get to that elite level and everything you do, you say it is the place to be.
Yes.
You can't even fathom the things that students will come in, the students that are there, their experience 4 years at Tuscola High School, everything is elite. And that's what we strive for when we do things. And now your radio broadcast after a rocky start is an elite broadcast. Got to give them guys credit. Last night's broadcast was elite. So everything seems to be moving in that direction, and that's a very positive thing. And speaking of elite, Sutton Sun sponsors, they're elite.
Absolutely.
Crompton Auto Parts, they're elite. Caffeine and Chaos, they're elite. So we have elite sponsors too. And that's Tuscola fans supporting Tuscola businesses.
Exactly right.
Yeah, well said. And so, folks, Chuck and I'll be back with the David and Chuck show this week. We're going to talk a little bit more in depth about Swain in anticipation of a slobber knocker, the last non-conference game before we turn right around, take a week off, try to get a little healthier, and play a very much improved and very physical Franklin team. But that's down the road. A lot of college football today. I know that you got to concentrate on the Tennessee game against NC State. Brian Hall.
Just understand, Ty Walker and Jet Bartley. I don't want to hear crap on Monday when you're crying. Okay, because those two have talked so much smack to me this week. All right, I don't want to hear it. Just go ahead and tell you, both of them. All right, it's not. Hey, guys, it's okay. You play in the ACC. It's okay. Hey, it's all right. You know what I mean? Hey, sometimes you just got to kind of be there to kind of fill the void. You know, and yeah, I only say this about NC State because I still have a personal thing against Chuck Amato. So that's the only. It's no other team in the ACC but NC State. It's just Chuck Amato. It's just bad.
Well, your mama never took the sweatshirt off.
And you know what? Our neighbor Jacob King said I can get her one and she'll give her right back. And he said no. And I was like, you done messed up, Aaron. You can't say that to James. Right.
Oh, we'll talk about that on our show Tuesday, Chuck. That's one of the funniest things ever.
Therefore, Ty Walker, Jet Bartley, I don't want to hear it. You know, it's not happening. And I'm not even going to talk about it if NC State wins because it ain't going to happen. You know what I mean? God forbid they do. Now it's going to end bad, but you know.
But anyway, we're going to get off here. A big win last night. Great environment. Folks, we got to travel well out to Swain County. It is.
I got to go.
And get out of here.
Thank you, everybody.
But got to travel well out there, Chuck. Got to play well, and see if the Mountaineers can end the non-conference at 3-1 before it starts the juggernaut, because the Mountain 7 from top to bottom has improved so much. These teams have improved so much from top to bottom. East Henderson's gotten better. North Henderson's gotten better. Franklin exponentially better. And then you got the West, and you got the Bears, and you got Tuscola. So everybody has gotten better as conference play is going to start. So I guess, Chuck, before we get off, any final words from you, my friend, and thank you.
No, I think, again, we talked about it all week, and not to toot the own horn, but we were right in that we were looking for improvement. How much? This team is still young, and they improved from week 2. So we want to see more improvement in week 4 from week 3. And the game played out like we called it. And the victory, it was a 4-quarter entertaining football game. And so they're going to be walking into the Maroon Devils. Beautiful color. Helmet College is maroon, right?
Yep.
open up today. But,
Yeah.
but the fact is that that's a hard place to play.
Tough place to play, but you got to play them. The
only place that has thrown out Tommy Persley in a football game when he was arguing a pass interference or illegal man downfield on an option that was pitched behind the line of scrimmage. So it was a run play. And so this is the kind of stuff you got to expect when you go down there. You can't be good. You have to be very good because strange stuff happens down there.
Well, we're going to find out next Friday night. Folks, tune in this week for the David and Chuck Show. I'm working on getting us I'm going to work on it this afternoon, and hopefully some Monday. I'm going to try to have a one, maybe even two college football experts to debate some college football with Chuck and myself. So I'm trying to get Hook and David Hooker on and a surprise guest, but we'll see if that happens. But anyway, thank you for tuning in, folks. We'll see you next week. I got to get down to the office. I got to work down at Crompton's Auto Mart. Thank you to our great sponsors and a great environment last night. Chuck, have a great Saturday, my friend.
All right, man. You too.
Bye-bye.
All fans, have a great Saturday.
Bye-bye.